Project Zomboid's unique charm is its 90s aesthetic. But would the game really be any different if it was set in 2023? Let's see how these 10 modern items would change Project Zomboid gameplay. And stick around till the end, because I think I've figured out the best thing to get your hands on in a zombie apocalypse. And of course, we have to start the list off with mobile phones. Imagine your character spawned with a mobile phone in their pocket. It's probably the most widely used piece of technology, so it would make sense for an adult in Kentucky to have one. Right away, you'd have access to live news, Wikipedia, all the entertainment you could want. Now, assuming calling for help is off the menu, you could use it to download guides and manuals on survival, all without stepping out of your house. While it wouldn't replace skill building altogether, it would save you a trip to the library and the VHS store. In a multiplayer server, it could be used as a way to stay in touch with other survivors. Even if we assume complete cellular blockout, which would be more in line with the lore, we still have some nice functionality, including a built-in flashlight, a built-in camera, possibly offline map functionality, and maybe even downloaded podcasts, books, or music for entertainment. Not game-changing, but still a nice quality of life improvement. The game-changing item is the next one on the list. By the way, if you want to roleplay with a mobile phone, there is a mod on Steam called Roleplay Cell phones. I'll drop a link in the description. Next up, drones. This is a big one in terms of gameplay advantage. Now granted, not everyone has a drone, but I feel like they're common enough that you would find a couple if you search the houses in the neighborhood. Most of the consumer models have HD cameras with live video feed, GPS, and some even have AI that allows you to follow objects. This opens up a world of possibilities in Project Zomboid. You could use a drone to safely scout out an area from a distance, move hordes around with sounds, and maybe even send items across the map. And that's just civilian drones. Military versions would have even more useful functionality like night vision, heat vision, maybe even a mounted remote control gun. Who knows? It would open up a lot of possibilities for strategic horde management. There are no drone mods on the store, at least not that I could find, but there's always a chance someone will make one. Moving on to e-scooters. E-scooters are probably the perfect transport option for getting around the city in Project Zomboid. It's fast enough to outrun the zombies and small enough to navigate around all the broken down cars in the streets. You could set up a base on the outskirts of the city with minimal risk and then just scooter your way in for loot runs. Having the ability to get around quickly solves a lot of problems in the game. Need to move a horde? Jump on a scooter and lead them away with no risk. Feeling tired? Jump on a scooter and head home. It's easy to maneuver and quieter than a car, so you're drawing much less attention. There are no modern e-scooter mods in the store, but there are some nice options for a moped. I'll put a link in the description. The other alternative is a bicycle mod. I'll link that as well. Next up, solar panels. The perfect renewable solution to a downed power grid. While solar panels did exist in the 90s, their use was a lot less widespread. The cost at the time made them prohibitively expensive for most people. Modern day, however, it's not uncommon to come across homes with panels already connected. In the context of Project Zomboid, the power grid blackout event becomes a trivial footnote, since moving into a solar-connected home is all it would take to overcome the inconvenience. This would also mean that generators become less important, and with that, the reliance on gas, which somewhat breaks the endgame since gas reliance is one of the key ongoing reasons to leave your base. Playing with solar panels is already somewhat popular in the community. There is a really good solar panels mod in the workshop called Immersive Solar Arrays. I'll drop the link in the description if you want to try it out for yourself. Now we have 3D printers. Okay, it's true, people don't have 3D printers at home, but they're not unreachable either. Most modern labs, and likely universities, have access to one, which means that during a zombie apocalypse, so do you. The great thing about these is that you can print virtually anything made out of hard plastic. This could be individual tools, weapons, and even printed parts to build machinery, like a robotic arm, for example. Provided you can find all the additional metal parts and have the technical know-how, you can build pretty much anything. Like a base defense machine that throws Molotovs at zombies, for example. This all of course requires power, so you'd need to couple this with a lot of solar panels to keep it going. Which goes hand in hand with modern computers. Now, computers did exist in the 90s, but they had nowhere near the functionality they offer today. You can even see them in some areas in the game, but only as a decoration. If Project Zomboid took place today, you'd be tripping over the computers from clearing one neighborhood. Getting your hands on a modern laptop would be incredibly useful, especially if you plan to do any kind of engineering. A quick trip to the local library would allow you to download catalogs worth of information onto a drive, which you can then transfer to a computer. This would, for the most part, make collecting books and VHS tapes pretty much obsolete, especially when paired with e-readers. Why collect dozens of heavy books when you can store thousands in a device that's smaller than one? Modern e-readers would make trips to the bookstore completely unnecessary, while removing the space and weight issues. One trip to the local library would be all it would take to get every single book you need until the end of times. While not a huge game-changing item, it is a definite quality of life improvement. Unsurprisingly, there are no e-readers on the workshop, but I did find an interesting mod called Mobile Reader, which lets you read books while doing things like walking and driving. I'll link that too. Next up, smartwatch. The next evolution of the digital watch. A modern-day smartwatch would be handy to have during the zombie apocalypse. It can do all the things that a digital watch can, like tell you the time and let you set alarms, but it will also monitor your health in the background. While it would be somewhat entertaining to see how many steps it would take to get away from a horde of zombies, the watch could actually tell you useful information as well, like changes to your heart rate or oxygen levels. This could work as an early warning system to let you know if you've been infected with the zombie virus. There are no mods like this specifically, but there is a mod that allows you to test for the zombie virus called Easy Zombification Test EZT. Actually pretty useful. Moving on to security systems. This is not entirely new either. In fact, you've probably stumbled across a security system already when you set up a house alarm at some point. Those do nothing but make noise. If Project Zomboid took place in the modern day, the security system would more likely consist of a net of cameras covering every square inch of the property, and those would be very useful. If you could take over a house wired with these, or set up your own, you could keep an eye on your entire base from the control room. If the system was particularly advanced, it could even warn you of any intruders. No more zombies sneaking up on you in the dead of night. And lastly, GPS. Have you ever gotten lost in Project Zomboid trying to find something? It can be tricky to drive, avoid hordes of zombies, and look at the map at the same time. If Project Zomboid was set in the modern day, all you'd need to do is set your location to the built-in GPS in your car and then just focus on driving. You'll have the map and the voice prompts to guide you around instead. The best part is that the majority of maps in your local area should work without the need for a network connection. And finally, the best thing to get your hands on in a zombie apocalypse is a military tank. Okay, hear me out. It's a massive 60-ton chunk of metal with multiple guns. The undead can't even scratch this thing. It wouldn't matter how many zombies you pull, you could just roll over them, meaning that you're completely invincible when you're inside. It's probably not easy to find, but I feel like if you did, you'd never need to worry about zombies again. What's on your apocalypse wishlist? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe to the channel for more survival game content. Thanks for watching.